Hey guys, it's Chloe, and today I am here with my July wrap-up and a little update. So first of all, I feel like Hermione with my hair pinned back and like the poofiness of my hair coming out. That was random. So first I'm going to go into the update. You may have already noticed, but my YouTube name has changed. After a little bit of thought, actually a lot of thought really, I decided to change my YouTube name. When I first started this channel back in 2012 with my friend Olivia, we called it Just for Teens 2012, and originally I rolled with that name in the beginning of my booktube career last year. And then I changed it, and for the longest time I was The Book Lover. And that's pretty generic, just The Book Lover. And you know, I called myself Chloe the Book Lover. I was just The Book Lover. That's who I was. But now I've decided to change that. I have decided not to be The Book Lover anymore. Mainly because it's so, like I said, it's so generic, and it's just The Book Lover. And a lot of booktubers I'm subscribed to have very creative names that I like. You know, we have Ginger Reads Laney, Cozy Tea Reads, Bookadoodles, Bookables, like so many awesome names. And after much consideration and a little input from Shannon from Cozy Tea Reads, I have decided to change my YouTube name to Brunette Bibliophile, mainly because I'm a brunette. Like, my original hair color is brunette, ignore all the blonde. I am a brunette. And all of us in the booktube community are bibliophiles, and I feel like bibliophile it's a stronger word for book lover, and you know, I decided Brunette Bibliophile, and I'm really happy with it, and I like it. So comment down below with your opinions on that. I am now the Brunette Bibliophile, and originally I didn't want to change my name because I was known in the booktube community as the Book Lover, but then I just decided, you know what, it has to happen. I'm going to become Brunette Bibliophile, and here I am telling you guys about it, so I'm now the Brunette Bibliophile. So that was my update part of this video, and now I'm going to get into my July wrap-up. So, holy freaking crapola, I did a whole bunch of reading this month. I completed a total of 13 books this month. That is the most amount of books I've ever read in a month, and I'm so proud of myself. And I'll be honest, I have Booktubeathon to thank for that. I did do a Booktubeathon wrap-up as well as daily updates. I'll link the wrap-up down below, but I'm kind of going to go into more detail about the books that I read during the Booktubeathon in this wrap-up video. So if you want more detail and my thoughts, this is the video to watch. So I have 13 books to get through, so we're just going to jump into the wrap-up. The first book I read this month is a reread, and is for the Summer of Spells read-along, and it is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. Now, I originally started listening to an audiobook of this, and then I just picked up in a physical copy and continued reading on through there, and I finished this book, and of course, Harry Potter, 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it as usual. I love all of J.K. Rowling's books, or Harry Potter books, and it was amazing. So I'm not really going to talk about this much since you guys know my thoughts on Harry Potter. The next book I read, I recently hauled and was a July release, and it is For a Divergent Collection by Veronica Roth. I cannot remember the day this came out. It was like, oh, it was July 5th, that was it. No, July 8th. It was July 8th. I picked it up on July 5th. But I read this book really fast. I loved this book. 5 out of 5 stars. I'm so glad I finally got to read the stories in Tobias's point of view. Amazing, amazing. Veronica Roth, you have done it again. It was so good, and I love this cover. This cover is gorgeous, and it looks amazing next to my Divergent trilogy. This book was just so good. I loved it, loved it, loved it. If you haven't picked this up and you are a Divergent fan, please please pick this up. It is amazing. I loved it. It's really fast to get through. It's 4 short stories and exclusive scenes included, and it was just fantastic. The next book I read was actually for assigned reading. It was a summer project, and it is a classic, which I tend not to read on my own, but it was The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and I actually liked this a bit more than I thought I would, actually. Than I tend to not like classics, especially required reading. It just, ugh. I actually gave this 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I don't really have, I kind of have an opinion on it. Like, I enjoyed it, but at the same time there were parts that were kind of confusing. I mean, I had to annotate this, and I wrote in a bunch of random questions for when I was confused. Like, I'm pretty sure one character, Daisy, I'm pretty sure she was drunk all the time, basically. So, I enjoyed it, but, you know, parts I was confused on. But again, 3 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was so stupid, I didn't even rate it. And I talked about this in my haul? Yeah, I think in my haul. And it is Nightlight by the Harvard Lampoon. This is, of course, a parody of Twilight. And this book was so incredibly stupid that it blew my mind how stupid it was. Now, it's not like the parody movie. I think it was Vampires Suck. It's not like that movie, but it was still pretty stupid. Didn't bother rating it because, for one, I couldn't come up with a rating. It was that stupid. But this was just a light read for me to read the weekend before Booktubeathon. So I had something really quick that I could finish. So yeah, just if you're looking for a laugh, or you don't like Twilight and you're still looking for a laugh, pick this book up, because, you know, it was stupid, but it was kind of humorous, just a little bit. Now we are into the week of Booktubeathon, which was literally one of the best weeks of my summer. It was the best week of my summer. I have a playlist, actually, of all of my update videos, my TBR, and my wrap-up, which I will link down below, and it was just incredible. I read 8 books during the week of Booktubeathon, and now I'm going to show them all to you. So the first Booktubeathon read, the 5th book of the month, was Stepping on Roses, Volume 1 by Rinko Ueda. This is a graphic novel, of course, and it was really good. I actually liked it a lot more than I was expecting. I'm really glad I picked it up, because it's probably one of my new favorite manga series. I gave this a total of 3.5 out of 5 stars. This is actually about a girl, I think her name is Sumi. Yes, it's Sumi. And she is poor, and she's raising all these children that, I mean, they're not her own, but she's raising these children that she wants to help with her brother, and they're poor, and she's looking for money, and she needs like $2,000 or whatever it is, yen maybe, to pay off a debt. And she ends up marrying this guy right here, and I'll be the first to tell you that this guy is a bastard. I do not like this guy. He's just horrible. But she ends up marrying him to, and he's rich, and he's helping her pay the debt and everything, even though he is just a bastard of a character. But overall, I did enjoy this first book. Again, 3.5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Mind Games by Kiersten White, and this book was interesting. I don't know whether I should I don't know whether I should classify it as a fantasy or a dystopian. I think it might be a little dystopian, but overall it gave me a fantasy vibe. This is sort of a boarding school story. It's about 2 sisters, Fia and Annie, I think. 2 sisters, Fia and Annie is blind, and Fia is like sort of an assassin or a spy, maybe, and they work for these people. Well, Fia works for these people, and she has to do everything they say, or else they will kill Annie. And then, like, some of the girls, they have like superpowers. Like, Annie is a seer; she can see the future, and it was super weird. I don't really have an overall opinion. I enjoyed this first book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. but overall I really just don't have anything to say about it. And the next book I read was Perfect Lies, also by Kiersten White, and this is a library book that I picked up for the Booktubeathon. This is the sequel and the last book in the Mind Games duology, and this book was even weirder. I actually did not like this book as much as the first one because, yes, there was more action, so to speak, in it, but I feel like both of these books could have been one book, and I believe Jesse the Reader also had that opinion as well, but I don't see the need for this to have been two books. It could have been one book standalone and it would have worked just fine. I actually ended up giving this one a really weird rating. I gave it a 3.75 out of 5 stars because I feel like it didn't deserve a 3, but it didn't deserve a 4, and a 3.5 just seems so generic, and it was leaning a little bit more towards a 4, so I ended up giving it 3.7 out of 5 stars. Again, little bit dystopian, mostly fantasy. I'm not sure if everybody knows that these women have superpowers. I don't know. So, yeah, again, I really just don't have a general opinion about this one as much as I do the other books. The next book I read, I'm actually really glad I read. It is a contemporary standalone, and it is Don't Call Me Baby by Gwendolyn Heasley. This is an ARC, but this book actually came out April 22nd. This book was so amazing. It was a really fast-paced read, and it was so good. I give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. The plot is actually, there is a girl named Imogen, and her mother is a mommy blogger, and her mom blogs about Imogen all the time, and I believe that's what bumped it down from a 5 to a 4.5 was her mom. Her mom's name is Meg, but she blogs about all of her daughter's private business, and that's really what just irked the crap out of me. I could not stand her character, like, just blogging about all this private stuff in her life, and it just, like, irritated me. Like, I can't imagine having a mommy blogger. That'd be horrible, really. Just, like, blogging about all my personal stuff. It was just, couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand her as a character, but overall, I just loved this book. It was amazing. Amazing. Loved it. I definitely recommend this. It's not like a romance contemporary. It is just like a coming of age almost, and not even really for the main character, but it's more a coming of age story for the main character's mother, but also for the main character in the sort of way. So if you're looking for a really good coming of age contemporary story, I'm telling you, pick up this book. The next book I read, also another reread, and was for the Summer of Spells read-along, and it is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling. Don't even have to say it, 5 out of 5 stars. Just, I forgot how amazing it is to read the Harry Potter books. It's so magical, basically, and such good reads. Just, I love them so much. What can I say? I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. The next book I read was Burn for Burn by Jenny Han and this name I can't pronounce. Siobhan Sayavahan something Vivian. I'm really sorry, I cannot pronounce her name. This is the first book in a trilogy, a contemporary trilogy, and this was a pretty good first book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. That cliffhanger at the end was crazy. Overall, I enjoyed this book. It's set between 3 different girls, Lilia, Mary, and Kat. And this was a pretty good book. My favorite character had to be Kat. Loved her. She's so like, I don't give a crap. And that was pretty awesome. But let me try to explain this. All 3 of these girls have like a reason to get revenge against somebody. So they decided to, like, all 3 of them decided to just team up and get revenge on the 3 people. And that was pretty cool, but pretty dangerous all at the same time. Again, 4 out of 5 stars. This next book was probably one of the best reads of the month, and it is The Land of Stories, The Wishing Spell by Chris Colfer. This book was amazing. It was so good. It really reminded me of Fablehaven by Brandon Mull, and it also reminded me of one of my favorite TV shows ever, Once Upon a Time. It was just so good. One of the main characters is a bibliophile as well, a book lover. She loves to read. And this book was just so amazing. It's about twins Alex and Connor, and they get a storybook from their grandmother on their 12th birthday called The Land of Stories. And one day they both fall into the book, and they are in the Land of Stories, and they meet like all these people. They meet Cinderella and Snow White, and it was just so good. Such a good fairy tale retelling, such a good fantasy book. There's 2 other books out so far. I think there's going to be a 4th one, but I cannot wait to get my hands on those 2. It was just so good. I can't even explain how amazing it was. And I'm telling you, Chris Colfer he's a good contemporary writer. He's an amazing fantasy writer. Now this is middle grade, but I don't even care. It was so good. I was so happy when I read it. It was such a good read. Like, I can't even explain it any more than I already have. It's just such a good read. Please pick this up. If you're a huge fantasy, fairy tale retelling, middle grade fan, you need to read this book. It was so good. I loved it. The next book I read, and the last book I read for the Booktubeathon, is Stepping on Roses Volume 2 by Rinko Ueda. I actually like this book a lot more than the first one. This is the second one. It's a 9-book series, I believe, and this one was just amazing. I give it 5 out of 5 stars. I loved this one so much. And this isn't her husband, but this is Nozomu, I believe, and I love him so much. I love him a lot better than her actual husband, since I said before her husband is a bastard. This book was really good. Loved it, flew through it. Of course, it's, you know, mainly pictures. Of course you're going to fly through it. Such a good book. 5 out of 5 stars. My new favorite manga series. And the last book I read during the month of July was another reread. This month is just full of rereads. But it was Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. This is easily my favorite Rainbow Rowell book. I've read 2 of her 4 books that she has published. I've read Eleanor and Park and Fangirl is my favorite, mainly because it, like, describes my life, almost. Freaking amazing book. 5 out of 5 stars. That's the same amount I gave it back in November when I read it for the first time. And this time I actually marked it up a bunch with just quotes that I loved. Like, I'll give you an example of a quote that I loved. A lot of these quotes are quotes from Levi, who I love to death. He is so cute. Oh, I made a Once Upon a Time reference in this too. Just, this book was amazing. Like, okay, this is a quote that I wrote down on the sticky note, but it's a conversation between Kath and Levi, and it says, "Are you tired? Do I get my own tent bed?" You can see why I love Levi. And it's called a canopy, and no, you get your own couch. And I love this book so much. It's easily one of my favorite contemporaries ever. So, yeah, Rainbow Rowell, you are like queen of contemporary. Those are all the books I completed this month. I started 2 other books, and I'll show those to you right now. The first one I started, I haven't hauled this yet, but I'm going to read this like off and on throughout, I guess, the rest of the year. And it's Muggles and Magic, J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter Phenomenon. And this is one of those unofficial guides or companions to the Harry Potter series. And this is the 2004 edition, so it only goes up to really Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. But still really cool, and I love it. So I'm going to be reading this off and on for basically probably the rest of the year. July is not over, but I know I'm not going to finish this by time the end of the month. Well, like the end of the day, basically. I started Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix by J.K. Rowling. This monster of a book, and it's not even the biggest in the series. I am that far through it so far. I'm on page, what page am I on? I'm on page 298 out of like 730 something. So, not going to finish this book, but still really enjoying it. yeah, I'll probably finish this next month easily, because, again, the Harry Potter books are just such amazing books to read and reread and stuff like that. So guys, that is it for my crazy July wrap-up and my updates. I really hope you guys support my decision of changing my YouTube channel name. I really like this new name now. It's like a new start, kind of. So like I'm transitioning from the book lover to the brunette bibliophile. Really, really happy with the amount of books I read this month. It was just incredible. Thank you, Ariel Bissett, for hosting Booktubeathon. You helped me so much in my shortening my TBR. That is pretty much it for this video today. As always, if you liked the video, go ahead and press the like button. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button down below. Please comment and tell me how many books you read this month, what books you've read this month, if you've read any of the books that I read this month, your thoughts, etc., etc. So that's pretty much it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!